Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Michael Oni of ABIA. My question I'm going to add to, I'll continue from where Zero stopped. It's about the fiscal policy of your administration. A brief look at the State of States report by budget for year 2022 that was recently released showed overdependence of the states on FAC as a major source of income with about 82 billion, IGR 18 billion for a whole year. That is higher revenue dependence of about 81%. Abian currently ranks 30th in debt sustainability, with debt stock about 192, like you mentioned, 192 billion, 12 most indebted states with loans of about $94.28 billion. My question is, looking at this fiscal performance of year 2022, how has the state fared, or how is the state faring under your administration? You have embarked on capital-intensive projects in Aba, Port Harcourt Road, Umuahia, Osar Road, and other parts of the state. Did we have a windfall? What changed? I believe Abians would want to know what changed. Where's the money coming from? How much of mobilization has been done? Thank you.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Very good question. The report to refer to budget speaks to the last government, and those are the issues we campaign with, and a lot of others. You probably did not mention other things like the level of unemployment, poverty level, but debt sustainability is very critical. Dependence on FAC, very critical. So it's a chicken and egg situation. We can construct. So borrowing is not a problem. What is the problem is what you do with what you borrowed. So if you deploy your borrowing to upgrade infrastructure and put your state in a situation where the ease of doing business will be higher, where you can attract capital, be they foreign or local, then your ability to generate internally generated revenue idea will be improved. If you sit down and say, I will do nothing, then you keep borrowing and your sustainability keep being impaired. So in a nutshell, what we are doing is, whatever it takes us, we want to fix the most important commercial and industrial hub of the state, if not the region, and that is Aba. And we are convinced that by the time we fix Aba and make it a proper industrial and commercial hub, that will be able to raise the funds, not only to pay back whatever we have borrowed, but also to support the development of other parts of the state. So what we are doing is not necessarily because we love Aba. Yes, we love Aba. But then beyond the love, we also believe that Aba has the capacity to support the development of the state. Check everywhere in the world. When you ignore the good that lay the good in it, you find yourself in an economic quagmire with the state is in now. So what changed? A lot of things changed. First of all, a new government is in place. And a government that understands how to manage the cost of governance. A government that does not spend frivolously. A government that does not share money. A government that believes that paying people their salaries is not because you love them, but because you need to stimulate the economy. A government that understands how the economy works. A government that understands the velocity of money. A government that understands that lighting up my hand is not because you want the place to be bright, but you want the economy to last longer. You want people to move around, and once they are moving around, they are spending money. And once money is being spent, somebody is making money. And once somebody is making money, he's able to employ people, he's able to reduce poverty, he's able to pay IGR. That's how the economy works. In the past, people had thought that governance is about collecting fat and sharing it. All stakeholders pay money into their accounts and buy their silence. So those have changed, and they have changed for good. Some people don't get it. My message to them is to wake up and smell the coffee. Things have changed, and they have changed for good. If you are not working, you will not eat. Whether you're a stakeholder, go and work. I am working. So everybody should work. So a lot of things have changed. And the earlier we key into that change, the better. Because the only way is up. Today, if you are sick and you go to the general hospital in Omwaya in Amatara, 24 hours, somebody will attend to you. You have eye problems. You don't need to go to Harrods anymore. Those equipment in Harrods are heard. So you can and be attended to. And we are replicating the same thing in Aba and Ogunato and another 12 general hospitals. So those have changed. We'll maintain a minimum standard. What do you want? Village people. I want your children to be able to go to school in Adi. And I want to give them what they will find in schools in Lagos and elsewhere. It just takes people who know what to do. So, if I borrow money, it will be for the good of the state. I don't need it. So those are the things that have changed. And I can assure you, like I said earlier, anytime I decide to go, it will be for regenerative investments. Regenerative investment. We will not be borrowing for consumption. We will be borrowing for production. So those are the things that have changed. I don't know if I've answered your question, Michael.
So far, what's where is money coming from?
It is coming from savings. The money is coming from savings. That money that would have been shared to stakeholders. Okay. That money that would have been shared to riffraffs. You know, the people writing in the media. We don't share money anymore. You may think it's small. It's not small. So we are cutting cost of governance to the barest minimum. So it is still possible to use the same federal allocation. I said it. I'll collect federal allocation for 1 month. I'll pay 2 months salaries. It never happened before. And I still have money to pay. I have not borrowed. That's what I'm saying. I have not borrowed. I will borrow. Because when we get to the point where the contractors will now put in invoices and all that, we will borrow. But the jobs that we have done and the ones that we have paid for, we've been able to save money from our federal allocation. In spite of all the deductions that have been happening, bailout fund of 14.2 billion that was taken by the past government, we are paying it. And all the other loans, as they fall due, we are paying. But in spite of that, we are managing to save money to pay the obligation at the fair due. But we are planning. We know that we'll get to a point where we will not be able to pay anymore. And we're already engaging with the banks and multilateral organizations that are willing to support us with the best times. And hopefully, by the time we get to the point where we require them, we will certainly borrow. Thank you.
Thank you. This session is supposed to end by 9:30, so once 9 o'clock we start reading messages from the audience. I mean, members of the public. They already sending messages on our WhatsApp platform, so please.
Is it 9:30 or 8:30? No, it's not. Yeah, it's not some. Yeah. Okay, so if you want 9:30, you have.
All right, thank you, sir. So, Imam of Abians. After that, we'll go to Arise, that's an hour, then we'll come to other.
Your Excellency, my name is Emmanuel Manzwe. I work for ABIA STATE. Part 3, Section 7 of the Local Government Law, 1999, says there shall be for each local government council a chairman and vice chairman who shall be known and called chairman and vice chairman respectively. As we speak, Your Excellency, there are none in the 17 local government areas of ABIA STATE. And we are wondering, I am wondering why there is this gap as of this moment. And we also know from the past administration, in fact the immediate past President Muhammadu Buhari did sign an executive order 10 granting local government autonomy, and that has to also do with the finances of the local government. Now, in the absence of the chairman and the vice chairman of these local government areas, how is the administration run? And of course, how did they get their own funds? Thank you.
Okay, Mana, thank you very much for your question. All the local governments have acting chairman. And if you read further in that section, elections are supposed to be held, but in the absence of elections, transition council chairmen are supposed to be appointed. The first thing, as we prepare for elections, will be to appoint transition council chairman, and that we will do very soon. But for now, there are acting chairmen in the 73 local government, and they are running the administration of the local government prior to the appointment of the transition council chairman, which eventually will culminate into local government elections. Thank you.
Nora.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Laura Kamfo. I work for Abias News. And my question is very simple. It's of Abias civil servants. Most of them have complained of reductions in their salaries. So I want to know if it's deliberate or a mistake from the accounts department. Secondly, I also want to find out, there are some persons who took a leave of absence from the Abias civil service, who either for study leave or political appointments in time past. And most of them are complaining that they've not been reabsorbed in the state civil service and they're being owed salaries from April to October. What's your administration think about it? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nora. It's news to me that people are complaining about their salaries not being fully paid. It's the same comment, the same question that was asked earlier. And I said anybody whose salary has not been paid completely should complain. So we do not have any policy of short changing people. There is no such policy. If there is an error, of course, it should be corrected. Now, the issue about leave of absence, I believe there's a process around it. I've not got any complaint about somebody who went on leave of absence and is returning and is not being absorbed. So if we have specifics let them go to the advocate of service, and then also they can copy the ombudsman in their petition, and the government will be happy to look at it. Thank you.
Michael Kafo.
Your Excellency, the People's Governor, for me, you can see, and when they mention my name, you had the reaction, but not after that reaction. I'm meeting with face-to-face with my Excellency. It's a privilege for me to come and see the governor. Even in the social media, people talk and write whatever, but I'm happy to be, and I have to commend the media group for this action. I am a local card. I write for Daily Times, our old paper, the foremost paper in Nigeria. Sir, I won't like to waste your time, but I want to ask a question. And based on the issue, you came up from the private sector to the public sector of governance. And you came up with a reform for civil service in other states. And such reforms have come and have been concluded with the recent and last verification of pensioners in the state. And you have another issue that you came and then the permanent secretaries were left on board to manage the civil service. And people are wondering that what has been the issue to reconcile between public and private sector, because people is new to them. Secondly, sir, your issue of offloading pensioners' pensions by December, how realistic is that, sir? Thank you.
All right, Emeka Okafor, thank you very much for your patience. Let me start with the second one, and that is offsetting the outstanding pension arrears. At last count, it was in the region of 50 billion. And when I talk about borrowing, it's part of what we want to borrow for. The whole idea is that if we inject anywhere around 50 billion or whatever the amount is into this economy, it will be spent in the economy. And this economy will do a whole lot better in terms of the gross domestic product, in terms of PDB, and in terms of every desiderata of economic measurement. So we are working seriously on it, but we also have seen that the data we inherited is not reliable, and that's why we have engaged in the verification process. We started with the civil service, and now we are in the verification process for pensions. And the whole idea is that we want to know who exactly we are paying. Because it's a government with human face, the verification for pensioners moved to where the pensioners are. Some of them will go to their homes. Those that manage to come out to their different wards, we look after them, feed them, and ensure that the people are not subjected to hardship because they have come for verification. We've received a lot of commendation from the pensioners themselves, and we are happy that they are happy. Now, The other question you asked, Emeka, which I didn't quite understand, is about the reforms in the civil service and private sector. So I didn't quite understand what you meant. Okay.
Okay. And time check, 20 minutes to stop taking questions from inside the house. So please, let's be as fast as possible. Stanley, Son FM, Iberi, please. Very quickly, please.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My question is a very short one. I came across a letter from non-academic staff of education and associated institutions, NAS. They wrote to the Ministry of Local Government Activity Affairs. It's on lingering crisis arising from ongoing staff education exercises and payments. One of the things they raised is already resolved that it was the issue of is it so? We've taken care of that already. But there's something about stacking here which I want to know if you are aware. The complaint of non-payment of the salary, especially primary schools, teachers, and local government education authorities. Again, they also complained that no release of check-up deductions since your administration board is another issue. I want to ask you, agency, and what is your government going to do to see to this problem?
All right. I have a very competent commissioner for local government and chieftaincy affairs, and I'm sure he's handling all those issues. So probably that's why it not come to my attention. But this is an isolated case of a local government in Aba not receiving April salary. I'm sure they should be addressing it. I would have been worried if you say that every local government in the state has not received it. If it's just one local government, maybe it's an isolated case. And I believe they will be handling it. Otherwise, it would have been brought to my attention. The issue of check-up dues, sometimes there are factions that the National Union of Local Government Employees, I'm sure that's what you're talking about, right? So you would have noticed that there are factions and they are busy fighting. So we will not okay, so if it is if their take-off dues have not been paid, there must be a problem. There are some of these organizations that have been involved in leadership of, and we are not going to support any faction by paying take-off dues to one faction. And truth be told, where things work very well, the issue of take-off should not arise. If you are actually a union and you are useful to your members, they will gladly pay you to come to hide behind government to collect money and source. Is no longer fashionable. But since that is what happens here, we are not interested in changing. But I want to use this opportunity to also call the attention of unions that coming to hide behind the government to collect their money is not democratic. You need to, it's just like taxes. People want to pay taxes where they have seen that the government is working. So, having said that, I would call the attention of the Honorable Commission to these observations and let them investigate them and then come back. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's have a woman. This Harrietta, could you please come up, and then we have family love immediately. Please, very quickly. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Eret Ashikon. I write for Nigerian Statesman. My question is this: why is it that successive governments find it difficult to group those who get back to them? Just like Dr. Kelly was on as back to them. Why is it that it's so difficult to because?
Thank you. All right, so Henrietta, are you listening? It looks like you are coming from the moon. Because if you are here, you will know that we set up a judicial panel of inquiry headed by a retired judge who, amongst others in the panel, have been walking around the world to unravel all the irregularities, and they are working very hard. It's still early days. They have not completed their job. So maybe you want us to call it group. The Judicial Panel of Inquiry is as good as group. But I must also warn you that in a democracy, quite unlike in a military administration, when you finish with your inquiry, somebody will reserve the right to go to court. And then you may be in court for 12 years. You have 4 years started. Another possible 4 years. So you would the matter will be in court while your administration elapses. So for us, we are not going to allow any probe or any inquiry distract us, and that's why we partnered with the people who know better while we're doing our work. Rita, did I answer your question? Thank you very much.
Good evening, Excellency. My name is Emeka Chigbo. I'm an friend of Oman. Now, sir, when you came into office, the Abias Scholarship Board counterpart funding from the state. Scholarship Board counterpart funding from the state was suspended, and that has led to some students in the UK, Australia, being struggling. Your Excellency, sir, what is your administration going to do with respect to that situation, and will it be revived under your administration?
Well, I'm not sure we took any decision to suspend counterpart funding. If anything, we've actually been doing a lot of counterpart funding. I'm not sure. But what I know is that the scholarship board has been comatose, and we are actually just working to now set it up properly, set a board for it, because I believe some people are deserving of scholarship. If in my private life in the last several years I've been awarded scholarship to deserving Abian people and people that live in Abian, I believe that my government should even do more. So we are in the process of setting up the board and having it work. So if there are people that are stranded and we get to know about it, we will treat them on a case-by-case basis. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take 2 more questions. First will be from Godwin Dada, and after that we'll take Chimo Gele before we now come over to our SMS line, please. We are really running out of time. Thank you.
Excellency, Excellency.
Ghana. Just last week, before the American High Court imposed $8 billion on South East to pay to the leader High Court based on the state government, South East government, which can use High Court as
So what's the reaction of the new companies? When are you paying?
With that, I hope you are not going to get a share in the premiums. All right, so a high court is not the last court. So if a high court had issued a judgment, there's room for appeal and there's room for Supreme Court too. I'm not speaking for the Southeast governors, but I can tell you that the governors will not just rush and pay without exercising their right to appeal. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, okay, thank you, sir. We'll go straight to reading some of the questions on the platform.
The last question.
The
last question.
Sorry?
The last question. She was here.
Yeah.
Last message. Good evening, Your Excellency. Chimwale is my name. I'm Ugele Chim, News Central Television. Your Excellency, some time ago, the police command here in Abias State dismantled some roadblocks that caused traffic for the citizens of the state. But that of Ehimeri has remained. In fact, those of Ehimeri, because the two entrances into Ehimeri from Ikotebene Road are still there. And it's causing a lot of problem for the people, especially those who can't navigate through the highway. Your Excellency, please can we impress it on the State Command, the Commissioner of the Police, to please dismantle since there are no more, especially on that road. And then finally, Your Excellency, the pensioners are happy that their monies are coming as I want you. But they say in their words, I'm not voting that money, but they reduce the kind. That's do something. The money that the money comes and reduce that, because what they actually said was that during the Governor Odazo, it was reduced, and now in your tenure it is further reduced. Can you do something about it? Thank you.
That can't be true. That is a big lie, because the past administration, I can't remember the number, but I believe it's around 265 million. And since we came, we've been paying 365 million. 265 and 365. Then the 100 million naira increase, not reduction, right? If my mathematics will not fail me. But like we had said, it will be a thing of the past by the time we take everything at the end of the year. Your comment about the checkpoints and the AEM, the comment is noted, and I will engage with the Commissioner of Police so that the place will be free of checkpoint. Thank you.
Okay, so Anastasia, go to our SMS line. Let's see the text message we have. I think I have one here from a concerned Abian. He's asking the governor, what is still delaying the inauguration of ABIA State House of Assembly Service Commission?
The works, a lot of other service commissions have not been inaugurated. I believe that should happen any moment from now. We are in the final stages of setting up the members of the commission. And I believe that very soon it will be inaugurated. Thank you.
Okay, there has been a backlash following the abysmal performance of Enyimba FC in the past few months. What's your disposition towards the leadership of Kano Wambo, considering the way things have turned out, and what football team do you support? This from TC Bar, you are beautiful.
All right. You know, the thing with football, you win some, you lose some. When we were winning, everybody was happy. And unfortunately, I think this is the second time we are losing, right? And so we are going to, I've not engaged with the the chairman, and the leadership of ENIPA, but it just happened 2 days ago. And I will engage with them to understand what actually happened. But you know, again, it's another review. So I don't want us to take it as that sentence because we lost the game. Okay, losing is also an opportunity to win next time. When you go and understand the reason you lost and then fix it, you can be sure that you understand why we lost and we fix it.
Okay, this one is coming. Another concern out there is saying, why is it that April 2023 salaries of staff of local government education authorities and primary school teachers are not paid till now? Why is it that some teachers' salaries are still being skipped after so many complaints to the accounts head of the local government education authorities and the accountant general's office all to now date?
Again, that is news to me, and I will take it on board in terms of the provision of the money to pay the salary that has been done. So if it's only April, meaning they receive May, they receive March, they receive June, then that would be an exception. And I will take note of that and engage with the accountant general to find out why some people have not been paid. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Governor, while you're also finding out there's so much messages here about primary school teachers, so it seems like it's a recurring something. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Governor. My question is on the issue of private schools flooding the whole streets of ABIA State. What's your plan in line with the education system? Okay, too many private schools flooding the state. Issue of standard?
So, private schools are welcome. Where there's a problem is when public schools are left to decay. And that's why we are putting deliberate efforts that public schools are brought up to minimum standard which we have defined. We need a little time to ensure that our schools are up to standard. We have taken one school by local government, both primary and secondary, and we have started retrofitting them. We want to get to the level where when you enter a school in Abia, you will be very happy. And will not stop until you get to that level. And it will be the minimum standard. What do you need? You need a laboratory that is functional. You need a library, be them physical or electronic. You need teachers' quarters, headmasters or principals, quarters and all that. Those will be minimum standard. And by the time we're done, private schools that want to compete with public schools will have to up their game. We are not at the point yet where we can say that we are able to compete. It's still early days, and I believe that with time we will get there.
Okay.
Mr. Governor, I want to ask about the open bidding for waste management, sequel to an emergency declaration on waste management in Abia. We haven't had so much about the bidding, so the governor's plan for waste collection and waste recycling away from the collection and disposal in the past.
There are two stages. We've completed the first stage. The bids have been opened, negotiations have happened, and I believe 6 PSPs have been selected for both Aba and Omaya, and our plan was for them to take off the 1st of November. I believe it was in the news a few days ago that companies have been selected. Now the second phase is the the management of the waste. And we are now conducting the necessary, we are now involved in the necessary process to also select companies that will manage the waste, either turning them to energy or incinerating them, or our target is that by the end of the year, you see the process of the sorting happening in Ososo Road, in Omoma Road, and a few other places. You will actually understand the level of work that is required. So again, it's also a matter of patience. We are taking them one step at a time, but I can assure you that there's a team already working in area market. I don't know about the big fees and levies, but what we've done is to automate the process so that any fees that are paid go directly to the state government's account. So we digitalize the process of the payment. So anyone who is accosted to pay and is not meant to pay to the state government account, then it means the person that is accosting them is a scammer, and they should report them to law enforcement agencies. So nobody collects any money by cash anymore. Thank you.
Okay, this one is coming from Ifeanyi. He said, what are you doing to get rid of touting in Aba and an incident of jungle justice in the city?
I believe that if you've been in Aba for long enough, you will know that the issue of touting has been reduced to the barest minimum. One of the ways is also to provide alternative things for people to do. Of course, by the time we also do that, we also follow with government that controls the instrumentality of violence, ensuring that touting is not supported. So we are working very hard. We cannot hand over the administration of the town or the state to that. So they are illegal, and we will continue to push to ensure that we reduce it. We may not completely eliminate it in the short run, but we reduce it to the barest minimum. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Governor, most of the questions are repetition, so maybe at this point we'll just ask you to take a wrap, and then we'll call it a day.
All right. So there's a whole lot that this government has in store for the citizens and the residents. Like we have said in the past, this is a government that considers anybody that lives in Abia an Abia citizen. Be you in Aba, Umuahia, or Abia, or anywhere, once you live in this state, we consider you a citizen. So we are working day and night to make life easier for our people. You are the only reason why we came to this government. Without you, we won't be interested. So, and because we have come for you, we want you to relax and believe and have faith that this government is working for you. We also want you to be vigilant and have your eyes wide open, because like Anderson said, the people who were benefiting from the old order will not relinquish control easily. So all the noise you hear, all the wailing, is coming from a tiny minority, which some of us have chosen to ignore. I was reading, I think yesterday, somebody saying that I had asked people in his village to take away his title because he's criticizing me. And I called Ferdinand and I said, this person, I didn't even know where he comes from, not to talk of his title. So it turned out that the guy was seeking attention. And those people seeking attention, our attention is focused on the people. And we will not move our attention to some selfish individuals. So you may not see us responding to some of the people whose stock in trade is attack any government that comes into power, and then they will call them and say, oh boy, keep quiet, come and take this job. There's no job for them. So the earlier they understand it, the better. Because no matter how much they will, they should just go and find something to do. Let me thank ABIA people for the support, massive support they continue to give us. And like I've always maintained, we will not disappoint our people. So on that note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, I want to thank you for coming for this engagement. And I hope to see you again by this time next month. Good night.